Hi students, in last lecture we have seen the dissociation of water or the extent of dissociation of water is measured in terms of ionic product of water. Ionic product of water Kw, which is represented by Kw, is simply product of molar concentrations of H plus ions and OH minus ions at equilibrium. When equilibrium is attained in dissociation of water, the product of ions of water, that is H plus and OH minus ion, is known as Kw, ionic product of water. It represents extent of dissociation of H2O molecules into H plus ions and OH minus ions. This dissociation constant of water Kw depends on temperature, and experimentally it has been found that value of this Kw is equal to 1 into 10 raised to minus 14 at 25 degrees Celsius. As temperature goes on increasing, value of this equilibrium constant also increases. This Kw is around 3 into 10 raised to minus 14 if measured at 40 degrees Celsius, or value of Kw is equal to 1 into 10 raised to minus 13 at 80 degrees Celsius. So as temperature goes on increasing, dissociation of water is more and more favored as value of Kw also goes on increasing. Now, the simplified representation of these values is carried out by using pKw values. That P stands for negative logarithm to the base 10 of any constant. pKw means minus log to the base 10 of Kw value. When value of Kw is 10 raised to minus 14, pKw means minus log to the base 10 of 10 raised to minus 14. Log of A raised to B means minus 14 into log 10. Log 10 is 1, minus minus plus 14 into 1, it is equal to 14. So when Kw is 10 raised to minus 14, value of this pKw, negative logarithm of Kw, is 14. Similarly, at 80 degrees Celsius, value of Kw is 10 raised to minus 13. As temperature increases, value of Kw also increases. This is at 25 degrees Celsius and this one is at 80 degrees Celsius. Dissociation of water is more favored at higher temperature as dissociation requires absorption of energy. As energy is absorbed at higher temperature, dissociation is more favored. Hence, value of Kw, that is ionic product of H plus ions and OH minus ions, increases at 80 degrees Celsius. Kw is equal to 10 raised to minus 13. Now pKw is minus log to the base 10 of Kw value minus log of 10 raised to minus 13. At a minus sign as it is, minus 13 into log 10. Log 10 is 1, minus minus plus 13 into 1, it is 13. So when Kw is 10 raised to minus 13, pKw value is 13. So if we write relationship between kWs at different temperatures, like at 25 degrees Celsius, at 80 degrees Celsius, value of dissociation constant, ionic product, Kw1 is equal to 10 raised to minus 14, and Kw at 80 degrees Celsius is 10 raised to minus 13. So with increase in temperature, value of Kw also increases 10 times, 10 raised to minus 14 to it increases to 10 raised to minus 13. So with rise in temperature, value of Kw increases, but we compare values of pKWs. pKW1 at 25 degrees Celsius is 14, whereas pKW of 10 raised to minus 13 is 30. So as Kw goes on increasing, values of pKWs goes on decreasing. Decreased value of pKW means Kw is actually increased and ionization is more favored. Now let's start with degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation which is indicated by alpha. Now this degree of dissociation means it is a measure of extent of ionization of an electrolyte. Every electrolyte or every substance has different tendency to undergo ionization in solvent, and that extent of ionization is measured in terms of degree of dissociation alpha. Degree of dissociation means alpha is equal to number of molecules of electrolyte dissociated at equilibrium divided by total number of molecules of electrolyte initially taken. As number of molecules of any electrolyte or number of ions are directly proportional to moles of ions or moles of electrolyte, the same formula can be written in terms of number of moles. Alpha is equal to number of moles of an electrolyte dissociated. Number of moles dissociated divided by total number of moles initially present, or you can call it as total number of moles of that electrolyte initially taken. So alpha represents fraction of moles of an electrolyte those undergoes dissociation till equilibrium is attained. Now consider an example of a weak electrolyte. Let's consider a weak electrolyte NH4OH. It is a weaker base NH4OH. It has tendency to dissociate into its own ions. It is a reversible process. NH4OH dissociates into aqueous solution into NH4 plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous. Now let's consider at a start of reaction, we call it as initial condition at T is equal to 0 initially. Initially means at T is equal to 0 minutes, we have taken 10 moles of NH4OH. 10 मोल आपण घेतलेत NH4OH चे आणि आता 10 मोल आपण टाकणार आहे वॉटर मध्ये. आउट ऑफ दिस 10 मोल्स only few moles will undergo dissociation to form NH4 plus and OH minus ions. So initially there are no NH4 plus and OH minus ions, those are obtained from NH4OH because we are just about to dissolve them into the water. Now when this NH4OH is added into water, the dissociation and association process will start and equilibrium will be attained after a certain time. So let's say at equilibrium. At equilibrium means when concentrations of undissociated molecules of NH4OH and NH4 plus and OH minus ions remains constant, we say equilibrium is attained in this dissociation process. So what we have noticed, after a certain time concentration of NH4OH, NH4 plus, OH minus remains constant in a solution. That means equilibrium is attained. And let's assume when equilibrium is attained, we have 6 moles of NH4OH still present in aqueous solution. Initially we have taken 10 moles, that represents moles initially taken before the dissolution, or number of molecules of NH4OH taken before the dissolution. And when equilibrium is attained in this process, out of these 10 moles, 6 moles of NH4OH remains undissociated. That means from time t is equal to 0 to time at which equilibrium is attained, 4 moles of NH4OH are dissociated from t is equal to 0 to t is equal to equilibrium. In this period of time, 4 moles of ammonium hydroxide are dissociated into its own ions. As stoichiometry of this dissociation process is 1:1:1, that means when 1 mole of NH4OH is dissociated, it forms 1 mole of NH4 plus ions and 1 mole of OH minus ions respectively. Now when 4 moles of NH4OH are dissociated, it will result in formation of 4 moles of NH4 plus ions and 4 moles of OH minus ions. Now in order to calculate the degree of dissociation of NH4OH, alpha is equal to ratio of number of moles of NH4OH dissociated in a given time. In given time, number of moles of NH4OH dissociated is 4 moles, and initially we have taken 10 moles of NH4OH. So out of these 10 moles, only 4 moles are dissociated. That means alpha is equal to 0.4. So alpha can be represented in the form of fractions, or alpha can be represented in the form of percentage. Percentage degree of dissociation is represented as alpha into 100%. Alpha into 100%. So we can write percentage degree of dissociation is equal to alpha into 100%. Alpha is 0.4 into 100%, that means 40% of NH4OH is dissociated. So it represents extent of dissociation. 40% extent of dissociation, 40% degree of dissociation means whenever there are 100 molecules of NH4OH, when equilibrium is attained, out of those 100 molecules, 40 molecules will get dissociated into aqueous solution into its own ions. Or when we have 100 moles of NH4OH, out of those 100 moles, only 40 moles will be dissociated when equilibrium is attained in this dissociation process. Hence, alpha represents extent of ionization. So, for a dissociation of weak electrolyte, moles of electrolyte dissociated are always less than total number of moles of that electrolyte initially taken. Weak electrolyte means it has less tendency to undergo ionization process, or it has less tendency to undergo dissociation process. Less tendency to undergo dissociation or ionization process means all the moles initially taken would not undergo dissociation. That means numerator is always smaller than denominator. Hence, value of alpha is always less than 1 for a weak electrolytes like NH4OH. Alpha is 0.4. That means it is less than 1. So, we can write as for weak electrolytes, alpha is always less than 1 or alpha is always less than 100%. Now, if we consider a strong electrolyte which has tendency to undergo complete ionization process, complete dissociation process, or the electrolyte which almost completely dissociates into its own ions, then the value of alpha is almost equal to 1 or it could be exactly equal to 1. Instead of NH4OH, let's consider a strong electrolyte like HCl. HCl aqueous, as it is a strong electrolyte, it will completely dissociate into H plus aqueous and Cl minus aqueous. Initially at T is equal to 0, suppose we have taken 10 moles of HCl and these 10 moles of HCl will undergo complete ionization as HCl is a strong electrolyte. So, after a certain time, let us say T is equal to infinity. After a certain time when this ionization process is completed, we notice amount of HCl remain undissociated in aqueous solution is 0. That means whatever moles we have initially taken are completely undergone this dissociation process to form H plus and Cl minus ions. If 1 mole of HCl dissociate, it forms 1 mole of H plus, 1 mole of Cl minus. If 10 moles are dissociated, it will result in formation of 10 moles of H plus ions and 10 moles of Cl minus ions. Alpha, which represents degree of dissociation, is equal to number of moles of HCl dissociated. Now, out of these 10 moles, only 0 moles are remained. That means all 10 moles undergoes dissociation process. Moles dissociated 10 and moles initially taken are also 10. That means alpha is equal to 1 or percentage degree of dissociation, which is nothing but alpha into 100%. Alpha is 1 into 100%. Means degree of dissociation of strong electrolyte is 100% or in fractions it is nearly equal to 1 or it is exactly 1. For strong electrolytes, alpha is almost equal to 1 or alpha is almost equal to 100%, or it can be exactly equal to 1 or exactly equal to 100% depending on the nature of that strong electrolyte. If out of these 10 moles, 1 mole of HCl remains undissociated, that means from 10 moles to 1 mole, 9 moles of HCl undergoes dissociation process. Out of these 10 moles, 9 moles are dissociated, means 9 moles of H plus ions and 9 moles of Cl minus ions are formed. Now, alpha for this dissolution process is out of 10 moles which are initially taken, 9 moles are dissociated. Number of moles dissociated divided by total moles initially taken, alpha is equal to 0.9 or in percentage it is equal to 0.9 into 100%. Degree of dissociation of this electrolyte is 90%. For alpha is equal to 0.9, it also represents it is a strong electrolyte which has greater tendency to ionize into its own ions. So, in simple terms, degree of dissociation is nothing but measure of extent of ionization of weak or strong electrolyte. The definition of degree of dissociation is given as degree of dissociation is defined as fraction of moles of electrolyte dissociated till equilibrium is attained at given temperature, because this dissociation process depends on temperature. As temperature increases, extent of dissociation also increases, as dissociation requires absorption of energy. So at high temperature there will be more energy available, and hence extent of dissociation is more. As extent of dissociation is more, value of alpha is also more. Now consider one hypothetical example. Let's consider a salt AB. It is a water soluble salt which dissociates into its own ions. So when AB aqueous, when added in water, it dissociates into A plus aqueous ion plus B minus aqueous ion. Initially we have taken n moles of electrolyte AB, and AB is yet to be dissolved in water. So there are no A plus ions and B minus ions initially present in aqueous solution. We have taken n moles of electrolyte, weak electrolyte AB. When that weak electrolyte AB is added into water, it will start dissociating into its own ions. As it is a weak electrolyte, its extent of dissociation depends on its degree of dissociation alpha, which is given by alpha is equal to number of moles dissociated divided by total number of moles initially taken. So in case of this electrolyte AB, we have initially taken n moles of electrolyte and its degree of dissociation is alpha. So number of moles dissociated is equal to alpha into total number of moles of that electrolyte initially taken, which is n. So n into alpha moles will be dissociated when equilibrium is attained in this ionization process. So let's say at equilibrium amount of AB which is undissociated, its moles of AB initially taken minus number of moles dissociated into own ions. सुरुवातीला आपण घेतले होते n मोल्स AB चे, आणि जोपर्यंत इक्विलिब्रियम अटेन झाला तोपर्यंत n मधले n इंटू अल्फा मोल्स डिसोसिएट झाले. मग शिल्लक किती राहिले? इनिशियल मायनस मोल्स डिसोसिएटेड. इनिशियली घेतले होते n मोल्स आणि इक्विलिब्रियम अटेन होस तोपर्यंत n इंटू अल्फा ह्या दोघांचा घ्यायचा प्रोडक्ट. इफ स्टॉइकियोमेट्री इज 1, n इंटू अल्फा मोल्स याच्यामधले काय झाले? डिसोसिएट झाले. n मोल्स इनिशियली घेतले होते, n इंटू अल्फा मोल्स तुटले. मग इक्विलिब्रियम ज्यावेळेस अटेन झाला त्यावेळेस हा तर काही शिल्लक असणार आहे रिॲक्शनमध्ये, हा काही फॉर्म झाला असेल, हा पण काही फॉर्म झाला असेल. हा शिल्लक किती? ए बी इन अनडिसोसिएटेड फॉर्म. इनिशियल मोल्स मायनस मोल्स डिसोसिएटेड, इनिशियल मोल्स n minus moles dissociated n into alpha. These are the moles of AB remains undissociated when equilibrium is attained. Hence stoichiometry of this dissociation process is 1s2, 1s2, 1. That means when 1 mole of AB dissociate, it forms 1 mole of A plus, 1 mole of B minus. Right now N into alpha moles are dissociated. If N into alpha moles are dissociated, it will form same N into alpha moles of A plus ion and N into alpha moles of B minus ion. Now if we convert these moles in concentration, now concentration means number of moles of that substance divided by volume of solution in liters. Now consider this dissociation of electrolyte is carried out in a solution whose volume is V liters. Volume of solution is V liters. So if we convert these moles into concentration, we have to divide moles by volume of solution, which is equal to V liters. So we can write as concentrations at equilibrium. Concentrations at equilibrium can be represented as moles divided by volume of solution. Moles divided by volume of solution. Moles divided by volume of solution. The same expressions can be written as N divided by V, moles divided by volume of solution, minus moles divided by volume of solution into alpha. Here also N by V into alpha, N by V into alpha. If N represents number of moles initially present, number of moles initially present divided by volume of solution means initial concentration of electrolyte AB. So it can be written as initial concentration C is equal to N number of moles initially taken divided by V. So if C is initial concentration of electrolyte AB at equilibrium, concentrations of undissociated electrolyte AB and A plus and B minus ions can be represented as N minus V, means initial concentration C minus C alpha. N by V represents concentration C alpha, C alpha. Hence, we can also write if AB electrolyte whose degree of dissociation is alpha dissociates into A plus aqueous plus B minus aqueous. We write initial concentrations. Initial concentration of AB is C. Initially A plus and B minus ions are not present. And at equilibrium, amount of AB remains undissociated, it's C minus C into alpha. It represents initial concentration. C into alpha represents concentration of electrolyte dissociated, C into alpha. So if initial concentration is C, C into alpha is dissociated. Up to equilibrium, C into alpha is dissociated. So amount of electrolyte AB remained in aqueous solution is initial minus dissociated, C into alpha. If C into alpha moles of AB are consumed, same C into alpha moles of A plus are formed, C into alpha moles of B minus are formed. So instead of writing in terms of moles, we can write the expression in terms of concentrations of electrolyte or concentrations of ions. Now consider one more example with difference stoichiometry. Consider a different example with different stoichiometry. Consider electrolyte like BeOH twice, which is a weak electrolyte. Beryllium hydroxide is a weak base. That beryllium hydroxide dissociates into Be plus 2 aqueous plus twice OH minus aqueous. If degree of dissociation of BOH twice is alpha, we can write initial concentration. If initial concentration of BOH twice is C, initially these two are not present, has dissociation process is yet to be started. Once dissociation starts, after some time it will attain equilibrium, so we can write equilibrium concentrations. Till equilibrium is attained, some amount of BOH twice will be consumed, and that amount is C into alpha. Out of concentration C into alpha moles are consumed. So amount of BOH twice remain undissociated is initial minus amount consumed, C into alpha. If 1 mole of BOH twice is consumed, it forms 1 mole of Be plus 2. If C into alpha moles of BOH twice are consumed, same C into alpha moles of B twice will be formed. Now stoichiometry is 1:2. When 1 mole of BOH twice is consumed, it forms 2 moles of hydroxide ions. The rate of consumption of BOH twice and rate of formation of OH minus is different. For 1 mole of BOH twice consumed, 2 moles of OH minus ions are formed. Its rate of formation is twice that of rate of consumption of BOH twice. So when we consume C into alpha moles of BOH twice the moles of OH minus will be formed. If C into alpha are consumed, twice C alpha will be formed. Twice C alpha. It represents moles of OH minus ions or concentration of OH minus ion at equilibrium, twice C alpha. Whereas C alpha represents concentration of B plus 2 ions at equilibrium. Now let's see the factors those affects degree of dissociation alpha. Factors affecting degree of dissociation alpha. Factors affecting degree of dissociation alpha. The first factor is nature of electrolyte. Nature of electrolyte itself. If electrolyte is a strong electrolyte like strong acids HI, HBr, H2SO4, HNO3, HClO4, strong bases like NaOH, KOH, BaOH twice, those will have tendency to undergo complete ionization. As they have tendency to undergo complete ionization, their alpha is almost equal to 1 or nearly equal to 1. That means value of degree of dissociation is more for a strong electrolyte, whereas degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte is less. So when electrolyte is strong electrolyte, value of alpha is nearly equal to 1, and for weak electrolyte whose degree of dissociation will be less because it has less tendency to undergo ionization, alpha is less than 1. So value of alpha depends on nature of electrolyte itself. Degree of dissociation of strong acid HCl will be higher than degree of dissociation for weak acid HCl. HCl being a strong electrolyte, it will dissociate completely. Its alpha is nearly equal to 1. Whereas HCN, which is a weak acid, its degree of dissociation is less than 1. Out of total moles of HCN, all the moles will not get dissociated into its own ions. Now the second factor on which this degree of dissociation is dependent is nature of solvent. Nature of solvent. We know that polar substances are more soluble in polar solvent, whereas non-polar substances are more soluble in non-polar solvent. Now in order to form ions, solvent must always polar. If we have to form ions, solvent should be always polar solvent, and dissociation of electrolyte in polar solvent depends on dielectric constant of that polar solvent. Dielectric constant of a polar solvent represents polarity. How much polar is that solvent? If solvent is more polar, then dissolution or the dissociation is more favored. If solvent is less polar, dissociation is less favored. For example, dielectric constant or polarity of H2. Dielectric constant of H2O is more than dielectric constant of polar solvent ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH. Water की जी polarity है, that means its dielectric constant, its tendency to solvate the ions produced in a solution. H2O has more tendency to solvate ions than ethyl alcohol. Both are these polar solvents, but water is more polar than C2H5OH. So when we add 1 mole of NaCl or say 1 mole of weak electrolyte, if we add 1 mole of NH4OH in water and same amount 1 mole of NH4OH in ethyl alcohol, the dissociation is more favored in H2O because H2O has more tendency to solvate ions NH4 plus and OH minus ion because it is more polar than C2H5OH. As extent of solvation is more in case of water, extent of ionization of NH4OH is more favored in water. Degree of dissociation of same electrolyte in water is more than degree of dissociation of same electrolyte in ethyl alcohol. Degree of dissociation also depends on nature of solvents. More polar solvent favors dissociation and degree of dissociation increases. The third factor is temperature. Now if we look at the dissociation process requires breaking of intermolecular forces those exist between ions. Now in order to dissociate NH4OH, in order to dissociate this NH4OH into its own ions, we have to break attractive forces between NH4 and OH minus ions. Now breaking of these forces, ionic forces NH4 plus and OH minus ions, these are held together by ionic bond, and to break ionic bond it requires absorption of energy. Dissociation requires absorption of energy, so at higher temperature more energy is available in the form of heat which is absorbed by electrolyte to favor its dissociation. As temperature goes on increasing, dissociation process, rate of forward process becomes more than rate of backward process, and we also know that equilibrium constant itself depends on temperature. With increase in temperature, equilibrium constant also increases or sometimes it decreases depending on the nature of process, whether it is a endothermic process or exothermic process. But right now, as dissociation process requires absorption of energy with increase in temperature, dissociation is more favored and degree of dissociation increases with increase in temperature. Now the fourth factor is concentration or volume of solution of weak electrolyte. Now this fourth factor is applicable for weak electrolytes. Experimentally, it has been observed that as concentration of weak electrolyte goes on decreasing, its degree of dissociation alpha goes on increasing, or it can be said that as volume of solution of weak electrolyte increases, its degree of dissociation also increases. Increasing the volume of solution means addition of extra amount of solvent. As extra amount of solvent is added, concentration of electrolyte decreases, because concentration is given by number of moles divided by volume of solution. So when number of moles of electrolyte are kept constant, with increase in volume of solution, concentration of solute goes on decreasing. That is called as dilution. Dilution means number of moles of electrolyte remains constant, but we add extra amount of solvent. Due to addition of extra amount of solvent, volume of solution increases and concentration decreases. So with decrease in concentration, or with increase in volume of solution, for they have observed degree of dissociation also increases for weak electrolyte. Now this effect can be studied in the form of Ostwald's law of dilution. Ostwald's law of dilution. Very important law, Ostwald's law of dilution. Ostwald's law of dilution, or Ostwald's dilution law. Now in order to study this Ostwald's dilution law, let's consider weak electrolyte AB, or we can consider weak acid HA. Let's consider monobasic acid or monoprotic acid, which has tendency to donate only one H plus ion per molecule HA. This weak acid HA, aqueous, being a weak acid, it dissociates partially, it dissociates feebly into its own ions, H plus aqueous and A minus aqueous, with its degree of dissociation alpha. Has an initial concentration of acid, concentration of acid is C. And now this HA acid, whose concentration C, starts dissociation into the aqueous solution, and after some time equilibrium is attained. So let's say at equilibrium the amount of acid HA remain undissociated, its initial concentration C minus amount of this acid HA dissociated till equilibrium is attained, and it is given by C into alpha. Out of C moles of HA, C into alpha moles will get dissociated till equilibrium is attained. So till equilibrium gets attained, C into alpha moles of acid HA dissociates into H plus and A minus ions. So at equilibrium, amount of acid HA remain undissociated is its initial concentration minus amount dissociated, C into alpha, C minus C alpha. C होता initial concentration. Out of that initial concentration, काही जे मोल्स आहेत ते आतमध्ये झाले डिसोसिएट आणि इक्विलिब्रियम अटेन झाला. आणि मोल्स डिसोसिएट किती झाले हे काढायचं कसं हे मगाशीच बघितलं आपण. अल्फा इज इक्वल टू नंबर ऑफ मोल्स डिसोसिएटेड डिवाइडेड बाय total number of moles initially present. Alpha is equal to moles dissociated divided by moles initially present. So moles dissociated is equal to alpha into moles initially present, C into alpha. Now if C into alpha amount of HA is consumed 1:1, if C into alpha amount is consumed, C into alpha amount will be formed. C into alpha A minus ion also has concentration C into alpha. So when equilibrium is attained, the aqueous solution will contain C into alpha moles of H plus ions, C into alpha moles of A minus ions, and C minus C alpha moles of undissociated acid HA. Now the equilibrium constant K equilibrium is written in the form of concentrations of products. Concentration of H plus ion at equilibrium raised to its stoichiometric coefficient 1 into concentration of A minus ion at equilibrium raised to its stoichiometric coefficient 1 divided by concentrations of reactants. Concentration of HA at equilibrium raised to its stoichiometric coefficient 1. And at equilibrium, what we have found that concentrations of HA which is remained undissociated in solution is C minus C alpha. So K equilibrium can be written as K equilibrium is equal to amount of HA remained in solution is C minus C alpha. Concentration of H plus ions is C alpha into concentration of A minus ions is also C alpha. Let us solve this. K equilibrium is equal to C square alpha square divided by C into bracket 1 minus alpha, C gets cancelled out with one another. K equilibrium is equal to C into alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. For this stoichiometry 1:1:1, the relationship between equilibrium constant K and degree of dissociation alpha is K equilibrium is equal to C into alpha square divided by 1 minus alpha. Now to simplify the calculations, it has been assumed that degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes is very less than 1. Degree of dissociation of weak electrolytes is very less than 1. Hence 1 minus alpha is nearly equal to 1. As alpha is very less than 1, this 1 minus alpha term is replaced by 1. And it is carried out generally it is carried out when alpha is less than 0.1, or we can say when alpha is less than 10%. If alpha is less than 0.1 or alpha is less than 10%, then you simply convert 1 minus alpha into 1. Or if alpha is greater than 0.1 or if alpha is greater than 10%, then this 1 minus alpha is generally not taken as 1. Now let us simplify this equation. Assume it as a weak electrolyte whose degree of dissociation is very less than 1, and hence K equilibrium, let us call it as K equilibrium, or you can write K equilibrium, which is equal to C into alpha square. 1 minus alpha is taken as 1, C into alpha square. Alpha square is equal to this equilibrium constant divided by concentration C, and alpha is equal to square root of K equilibrium divided by initial concentration of electrolyte C. Now equilibrium constant is a constant which depends on temperature. So value of K is constant. Now alpha depends on the concentration. It can be written as alpha is inversely proportional to square root of concentration. It is Ostwald's law of dilution. It represents degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte alpha is inversely proportional to square root of concentration of that weak electrolyte. So with decrease in concentration of weak electrolyte, its degree of dissociation goes on increasing. Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte is inversely proportional to square root of concentration. Hence, with decrease in concentration of weak electrolyte, its degree of dissociation increases. And decrease in concentration is achieved by addition of extra amount of solvent. That means increasing volume of solution. This expression alpha is equal to square root of K equilibrium divided by concentration. This concentration is nothing but moles divided by volume of solution. So alpha is equal to square root of K equilibrium into volume of solution divided by number of moles. If number of moles are 1 mole or if number of moles are constant, that means we are not changing moles of electrolyte. What we are changing now? Volume of solution. If volume of solution is changed, its concentration is changed. The expression when n is equal to 1 mole or n is equal to constant, we can say that this degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte alpha is directly proportional to square root of volume of solution. Ostwald's law. Degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte is inversely proportional to concentration of that weak electrolyte, or degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte is directly proportional to square root of volume of solution of that weak electrolyte. So when volume of solution is increased, its degree of dissociation also increases. So when solution gets diluted, solution of weak electrolyte, when solution of weak electrolyte is diluted, its degree of dissociation goes on increasing. Now these expressions we derive depends on stoichiometry. Generally in textbook all the examples are based on a stoichiometry like 1:2, 1:1, and those numericals can be solved by memorizing these expressions. But these expressions are not fixed, they depends on stoichiometry. When stoichiometry is changed, these expressions are also changed. So it is known as Ostwald's law of dilution, and the method we follow to derive Ostwald's law of dilution is very important for solving different numericals. Now, if we change the stoichiometry, the formula of K equilibrium also changes. The formula of K equilibrium will also be changed. Let's consider salt A2B. When this salt A2B aqueous dissociates into its own ions, it will result in formation of twice A plus aqueous plus B minus 2 aqueous. That means stoichiometry of this dissociation process is 1:2, 2:1. When 1 mole of salt A2B is dissociated, 2 moles of A plus ions are formed and 1 mole of B minus 2 ions is formed. Degree of dissociation of this weak electrolyte is alpha. So initial concentration if initial concentration of electrolyte is C, concentrations at equilibrium will be, out of this C into alpha will get dissociated into its own ions. So when equilibrium is attained, C into alpha will be dissociated. Amount of A to B remained in solution is initial minus dissociated, C minus C alpha. When 1 mole of A to B is dissociated, 2 moles of A plus are formed. When C into alpha is consumed, twice C alpha is formed, twice C alpha. So concentration of A plus ions at equilibrium is now twice C alpha. Hence stoichiometry of this salt and B minus 2 ions is 1:1. When C into alpha is consumed, C into alpha is formed, C into alpha. Now equilibrium constant for this process is K is equal to concentrations of products A plus raised to its stoichiometric coefficient, B minus 2 raised to its stoichiometric coefficient divided by concentration of salt A to B, and all these concentrations corresponds to equilibrium. So at equilibrium, concentration of A plus ions is twice C alpha and not C alpha like in a previous case where stoichiometry is 1:1:1. So concentration of A plus at equilibrium is twice C alpha its square into C alpha divided by concentration of A to B is C minus C alpha. So relationship between this equilibrium constant and degree of dissociation alpha depends on stoichiometry of the process or stoichiometry of the reaction. As stoichiometry undergoes change, this value of K, relation of K with alpha also changes. Now let's start with the strength of acids and bases. Strength of acids and bases means how strong or weak that acid or base is. If acid ionizes to a greater extent, it will produce more number of H plus ions, and if acid produces more number of H plus ion, we can call it as a stronger acid. Similarly, if base produces more number of OH minus ions, if degree of dissociation of base is high, its dissociation will be greater and it will produce more number of OH minus ions, and that base will be a stronger base. More the number of H plus ions, stronger is the acid, less the number of H plus ions, weaker is the acid, and same is for base. More the number of OH minus ions, stronger is the base, less the number of OH minus ions produced in aqueous solution, weaker will be that base. Now the strength of acids and bases are measured in terms of dissociation constant of acids and bases and in terms of pH of the solution. So first we will look at dissociation constants. Dissociation constant of acid, it is represented as Ka, or dissociation constant of base, it is represented as Kb. Now dissociation constant simply means equilibrium constant for a dissociation reaction. These are not new terms. It is nothing but equilibrium constant for dissociation of acid and equilibrium constant for dissociation of base. Consider a weak acid. Let us consider weak acid Ha. Let us consider weak acid Ha. So when this weak acid Ha is added into H2O liquid, it will dissociate into H plus and A minus ions. Those H plus ions reacts with H2 molecules to form H3O plus ions, hydronium ions. So during this reaction, H plus ion is donated by HA to H2O. It forms hydronium ions H3O plus aqueous plus A minus ions. Now for this reaction, equilibrium constant K equilibrium is written as K equilibrium is equal to concentrations of products. Concentration of H3O plus at equilibrium, concentration of A minus at equilibrium divided by concentration of acid HA into concentration of pure liquid H2. As H2O is present in excess and it is pure liquid, its concentration will remain constant, and we have already seen that concentrations of pure solids and pure liquids are considered as unity because these are constant. H2 is present in excess, so at equilibrium its concentration will almost remain constant, or you can say that it is a pure liquid, its concentration is considered as 1 or unity. So K equilibrium into concentration of H2O, which is also constant, is equal to concentration of H3O plus into A minus divided by concentration of H. Now concentration of H2O is almost constant, considered it K dash. K equilibrium into K dash is equal to concentration of H3O plus into A minus divided by concentration of H. And this K equilibrium, which is a constant, K dash, which is also constant, these two are replaced by new constant Ka. Degree of dissociation of dissociation constant of acid Ke. K is new constant which represents K equilibrium into K dash. So Ka can be written as concentration of H3O plus at equilibrium into concentration of A minus at equilibrium divided by concentration of H at equilibrium. Now this expression indicates that this constant Ka, which is equilibrium constant for dissociation of acid, is directly proportional to concentration of hydronium ion H3O plus ions. When this acid is stronger, more the number of H3O plus ions present in a solution. As concentration of H3O plus ions increases, value of K also increases. It represents Ka is directly proportional to concentration of H3O plus ions, or H3O plus ions can be written as Ka is directly proportional to H plus ions. तर जेवढा जास्त ॲसिड होणार आयनाइज, तेवढे जास्त आतमध्ये प्रोड्यूस होणार H प्लस आयन्स, तेवढे आतमध्ये जास्त असणार आहेत हायड्रोनियम आयन्स, आणि जेवढे हायड्रोनियम आयन जास्त, जेवढे H प्लस आयन जास्त, तेवढी Ka ची व्हॅल्यू जास्त. दॅट मीन्स दिस व्हॅल्यू ऑफ Ka रिप्रेझेंट्स स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ दॅट ॲसिड. If value of K is more, concentration of H plus ions produced by that acid at equilibrium is also more, that acid will be a stronger acid. So we can say that strength of acid, is directly proportional to concentration of H plus ions present in aqueous solution. जेवढं H प्लस आयनचं कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन जास्त, तेवढं ॲसिडची ॲसिडिटी जास्त. स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ ॲसिड इज डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टू कॉन्सन्ट्रेशन ऑफ H प्लस आयन्स, and as concentration of H plus ions is directly proportional to Ka, the strength of acid is directly proportional to Ka. Strength of acid is directly proportional to Ka. This expression can also be written in a simplified way as HA aqueous weak acid dissociates into H plus aqueous plus A minus aqueous, and hence equilibrium constant for this reaction is written as Ka is equal to concentration of products H plus ions at equilibrium, A minus ion at equilibrium divided by concentration of H. Water is not taken in this expression because concentration of H2 almost remains constant throughout the experiment, as it is taken in excess amount and it is present in a pure form. Its concentration or activity of a taken mass remains constant. So Ka is directly proportional to concentration of H plus ions. Hence acidity is directly proportional to value of dissociation constant of weak acid Ka. Dissociation constant of weak acid is nothing but equilibrium constant for a dissociation reaction of that weak acid. This K is nothing but equilibrium constant for this dissociation reaction of weak acid. Hence Ka or dissociation constant of weak acid is defined as equilibrium constant for a dissociation of weak acid. Exactly similar expression can be written for a base. Now consider a weak base NH4OH. If we consider a weak base NH4OH or a weak base BOH, consider weak base BOH, that BOH aqueous will dissociate into water into its ions B plus aqueous plus OH minus aqueous, and strength of this base depends on number of OH minus ions produced. More the OH minus ions are produced, base will be stronger. Lesser the number of OH minus ions produced, base will be weaker. Now write down the equilibrium constant for this expression. Equilibrium constant is equal to product of molar concentrations of products divided by product of molar concentrations of reactants BOH at equilibrium. And this equilibrium constant K equilibrium is given new name Kb, dissociation constant of weak base. So dissociation constant of weak base is nothing but equilibrium constant for a dissociation reaction of weak base. Kb is equal to concentration of B plus into concentration of OH minus ions divided by concentration of BOH, provided all these concentrations are measured at equilibrium. And this expression also indicates Kb is directly proportional to concentration of OH minus ions. And we know that strength of base is directly proportional to concentration of OH minus ions. जेवढे OH minus ion जास्त, जेवढं OH minus ion चं concentration aqueous solution मध्ये जास्त, तेवढा तो base stronger base. जेवढं OH चं concentration कमी, weaker base. And concentration of this OH minus ion depends on Kb. So same can be written as strength of base is directly proportional to Kb. So these are dissociation constant of weak acid and weak base, and values of Ka and Kb depends on temperature, because these are nothing but equilibrium constant which depends on temperature. Values of Ka and Kb are always experimentally determined. You cannot predict by looking at a molecular formula what is the value of NH4OH and what will be the value of weaker acid like HCN. These are always experimentally determined and given in numericals. Now similar to Kw, which can be expressed in terms of pKw, values of Ka and Kb are also expressed in terms of pK values or pKw values. Consider two acids, HA, let's call it as acid HA1, or we can call it as one acid HF and one acid HCl. And let's assume their Ka values, like at certain temperature Ka value of HF is 1 into 10 raised to minus 5. These are not actual values or real values. We have taken this to understand the concept of Ka and pKa. HF is a stronger acid than HCl. As HF is a stronger acid than HCl, its Ka value will be greater than value of HCl. And for HCl, let's take value 1 into 10 raised to minus 10. And just now we have written strength of acid is directly proportional to concentration of H plus ion. Strength of acid is directly proportional to Ka value. So right now Ka for HF, which is 10 raised to minus 5, is greater than value Ka for HCl. This acid HF is 10 raised to 5 times stronger than HCl. Because its dissociation constant is less, it will produce lesser number of H plus ions in aqueous solution than HF. So Ka1 is greater than Ka2. Acid 1 is stronger than acid 2. Strength. Now let's convert these Ka values into pK values. pKa means negative logarithm to the base 10 of Ka value. So for pK1, it can be written as pK1 is equal to minus logarithm to the base 10 of 10 raised to minus 5. 10 raised to minus 5 means minus into minus 5 log 10. Minus into minus 5 into log 10. Log 10 is 1. pK1 value is 5. pK2 value is minus log K2 value. Minus log of K2 value is 10 raised to minus 10, which is minus 10 into log of 10, which is 1, minus plus, it's 10. Now if we compare pK values, what you have noticed, pK1 and pK2. pK1 value is 5 and pK2 value is 10. pK2 is greater than pK1 because actually we are multiplying by a negative sign. Ka values are positive values, whereas pK values are minus log 5, 10. So more the value of Ka, lesser will be the value of pK, or less the value of Ka, more be the value of pK. Ka and pK are inversely related. So with increase in Ka, pK decreases, or with decrease in Ka, pK value increases. As K increases, pK decreases, and increase in K represents more acidity. So acidity is inversely proportional to pK values. Acidity is inversely proportional to pKa values. As pK value goes on increasing, as pK value increases, Ka value decreases, and due to decrease in Ka value, acidity decreases. pK value increases, acidity decreases. Exactly similarly, these expressions can be written for base. Strength of base is directly proportional to concentration of OH minus ions, and concentration of OH minus ions is directly proportional to Kb values, hence basicity is directly proportional to Kb, or we can write as basicity is inversely proportional to pKb. When acids are arranged in increasing order of their pK values, when acids are arranged with increasing value of their pK values, we are actually arranging the acids with decreasing their acidity. Now consider acid HA. HA aqueous combines with, or it is dissolved in H2O liquid, it undergoes dissociation process to give H3O plus aqueous plus A minus aqueous. And this dissociation process or dissolution process is carried out at 25 degrees Celsius when value of Kw is constant 10 raised to minus 14. Now in this reaction, HA donates proton to H2. As HA donates proton to H2O, HA is Bronsted acid. HA is Bronsted acid. It donates proton to H2O, and after donation of proton, A minus ion is remained, which gains H plus ion from H3O plus in a backward reaction. If we look at the backward reaction, H3O plus donates H plus ion to A minus to form HA. That means A minus is a H plus acceptor, and H plus acceptor is Bronsted base. And right now HA and A minus represents conjugated acid base pair. If it is a parent acid, after donating H plus, the A minus ion remained, which differs from HA by only one proton, is nothing but conjugated base. Conjugated base, A minus ion. Now for this reaction, equilibrium constant is nothing but dissociation constant of a weak acid HA. It can be written as dissociation constant of weak acid HA, Ka is equal to concentrations of product, concentration of H3O plus ion at equilibrium into concentration of A minus ion at equilibrium divided by concentration of weak acid HA into concentration of H2O at equilibrium, which is constant and considered as a unity. So concentration of H2O liquid is not written in this formula, it is constant. Now consider a reaction like A minus aqueous ion interacts with H2O liquid, and this time H2O liquid donates H plus ion to A minus. A minus ion acquires H plus ion from H2O. As A minus ion acquires H plus ion from H2O, it acts as Bronsted base, proton acceptor. Bronsted base, proton acceptor. It will accept H plus from H2O. This H2O can be written as HOH. H plus ion is donated, it forms HE, aqueous, plus OH minus ion. So forward reaction is actually dissociation constant of base. In forward reaction, OH minus ions are produced, and equilibrium constant for this reaction is directly proportional to concentration of OH minus ions. It is nothing but dissociation constant Kb. Now A minus ions and HA in backward reaction, HA donates H plus to OH minus ion. If HA donates H plus to OH minus ion, HA acts as a acid and it is now conjugated acid of A minus. These are conjugate acid base pairs. Those differs in their molecular formula only by one proton H plus. So actually we are comparing strengths of conjugated acid base. Now for this reaction, equilibrium constant, let's say Kb, is represented as concentration of HA at equilibrium into concentration of OH minus ion divided by concentration of A minus ions into concentration of H2O liquid, which is considered as a constant. Now let's take multiplication between Ka and Kb. Ka into Kb, which is equal to Ka and Kb represents dissociation constant of acid and its conjugate base, or dissociation constant of base and its conjugate acid. So Ka and Kb stands for conjugated acid base pairs. Ka into Kb is equal to concentration of H3O plus into concentration of A minus divided by concentration of He, and Kb is concentration of Ha into concentration of OH minus divided by concentration of A minus. A minus are cancelled out. Ka into Kb for conjugated acid base pairs is equal to concentration of H3O plus at equilibrium into concentration of OH minus ions at equilibrium. Now this ionic product of H3O plus and OH minus ion at equilibrium represents Kw, ionic product of water, H plus ions, OH minus ions. So Ka into Kb, is equal to Kw. It is valid for conjugate acid base pair. The product of dissociation constant of acid and dissociation constant of its conjugated base is equal to Kw, or we can say that the product of dissociation constant of parent base and its conjugated acid Ka is equal to ionic product of water Kw. As ionic product of water Kw is a constant and it depends on temperature. If we consider temperature is 25 degrees Celsius, at 25 degrees Celsius, this value of Kw is 10 raised to minus 14. Therefore, Ka value into Kb value is equal to 10 raised to minus 14, or Ka is equal to 10 raised to minus 14 divided by Kp, or you can write as Ka is equal to Kw divided by Kp. This value of Kw is temperature dependent, which is constant at that particular temperature. So from this expression we can write that Ka is inversely proportional to Kb for conjugate acid base. For conjugate acid base, what does that mean? When acid is stronger, we have seen acidity is directly proportional to Ka, whereas basicity is directly proportional to Kb. So when parent acid is stronger means value of Ka is more. When parent acid is stronger, excuse, Ka value is more and Kb value is less. When we said parent acid is a stronger acid. If acid is stronger, its value of dissociation constant is more, then the dissociation constant of its conjugated base is less. That means it is less basic. That's why in Bronsted acid base theory we said when parent acid is stronger, its conjugate base is weaker and vice versa. If parent acid itself is a weaker, its Ka value is less. If acid is weaker, Ka value is less, and if Ka value is less, for a conjugated base, Kb value is more. That means conjugated base is stronger. Parent acid and conjugated base. When parent acid itself is stronger, when parent acid itself is stronger means Ka value is high. Ka value is high means Kb value is less. Kb value is less means conjugated base is weak.